In 597 BCE, the first wave of Jewish exiles were taken from Jerusalem to Babylon by King Nebuchadnezzar II. The Book of Lamentations in the Hebrew Bible records their suffering and resilience during this time. But what truly happened to these people? How did they maintain their faith and practices in a foreign land? The forced deportation was not just an event, but a turning point in Jewish history. It marked the beginning of the Babylonian exile, a period that would shape the Jewish community's enduring spirit and resilience. The exiled Jews were settled in various locations around Babylon, including the cities of Babylon and Nippur. Despite their displacement, they maintained their religious practices. They observed the Sabbath, celebrated holy days like Passover, and kept their faith alive even in exile. This journey would test their resilience and define their identity as a people. The temple in Jerusalem, a symbol of their faith and unity, was looted and destroyed by the Babylonians. This marked not just a loss of a sacred place, but also a test of their resolve. But their faith remained steadfast. They maintained their identity and practices, waiting for the day they could return to Jerusalem and rebuild their sacred space. And so begins our story of the Jewish people's journey through exile and their ultimate return to Jerusalem. Before we begin, a small request. Most of the people listening tonight aren't subscribed. If this channel has ever helped you drift off, take a moment to subscribe. It's free, it helps this channel more than you'd think, and you can always change your mind later. And if you feel like it, leave a comment telling me where in the world you're listening from and what time it is where you are. I love reading them. One more thing before we begin. I'm also a co-founder of a sleep app, built to be the most affordable one out there. No ads, ever. Just sounds and stories made to help you sleep. It may not be released yet as this video goes up, but if you're watching a little later, it might be out by now. Just search for it. It should be easy to find. It works on iPhone, Android, and everything in between. Downloading it is the best way to support this channel. In the heart of Mesopotamia, in what is now modern Iraq, lies the ancient city of Babylon. This once great empire was a place of wealth and cultural significance, known for its grandeur and advanced infrastructure, including the legendary Hanging Gardens. Here, the Jewish people found themselves during the Babylonian exile, a period that would shape their history in profound ways. For many Jews, life in exile meant adopting new names and integrating into Babylonian society. As they walked the bustling streets, the echoes of Hebrew prayers would be heard alongside the hum of marketplace chatter in Akkadian. Despite these changes, the Jews held onto their faith with remarkable resilience. Each Sabbath, they would gather in small groups, lighting candles under the cover of darkness to observe the holy day. The Book of Lamentations in the Hebrew Bible bears witness to their suffering and longing for home. By the rivers of Babylon, there we sat down and wept when we remembered Zion. Their faith was a beacon, guiding them through the challenges they faced. In the quiet moments between work and sleep, families would huddle together, telling stories of their past, of Jerusalem, of the temple, of their ancestral home. These tales kept hope alive, a flickering candle in the darkness. Their faith was not just a personal practice, but a communal bond that strengthened their resolve. They maintained religious practices like celebrating Passover, even in the face of adversity. And so, amidst the foreign landscape and the bustling city life, the Jews of Babylon found ways to preserve their identity and their faith. Their resilience was a testament to their enduring spirit. In 538 BCE, a pivotal event occurred that would change the course of their history. King Cyrus of Persia issued a decree allowing the Jews to return to Jerusalem and rebuild their temple. This act of mercy signaled not just a change in political fortunes, but a profound moment of restoration and hope for the Jewish people. The journey of the Jewish people from Jerusalem to Babylon, their enduring faith and resilience during exile, and their ultimate return and restoration in Jerusalem is a profound story of hope and perseverance. Among those exiled was Ezekiel, a prophet whose visions and messages offered spiritual guidance during this tumultuous period. Exiled alongside thousands of his fellow Jews, Ezekiel found himself along the banks of the Chebar River in Babylonia, a region that would become central to his divine encounters. In this foreign land, Ezekiel experienced a series of vivid and complex prophetic visions. One of the most notable occurred when he saw what he described as wheels within wheels, accompanied by living creatures. These visions were not merely symbolic, they carried deep spiritual significance and a message of divine guidance for the exiled people. Ezekiel's prophecies did not simply foretell future events, they also served as a source of comfort and hope for the Jewish people, reminding them that their faith would endure even in exile. One particularly striking vision involved the temple in Jerusalem, which was then reduced to ruins. Ezekiel saw a spirit lifting him and carrying him to see this desecrated holy place. In this visionary journey, Ezekiel witnessed the presence of God moving from the outer court of the temple to its inner sanctuary, signifying a promise of restoration and renewal. These prophetic visions offered more than just spiritual solace. They also provided a roadmap for the future restoration of Jerusalem and its temple. Through his prophecies, Ezekiel conveyed a sense that even in the darkest times of exile, hope and restoration were within reach. The Book of Lamentations is a poignant testament to the deep sorrow and despair experienced by the Jewish people during their exile in Babylon. Written amidst the ruins of Jerusalem, it captures the emotional turmoil of those who witnessed the destruction of the first temple and were forced into deportation. In this powerful biblical text, the author, believed to be Jeremiah, expresses a profound sense of grief for the loss and suffering endured by his people. The siege of Jerusalem by the Babylonians, which lasted for 18 months, was a brutal period that left the city in ruins and its inhabitants in despair. The Book of Lamentations is structured as a series of poetic laments, with each chapter beginning with an acrostic poem. This literary device, where the first letter of each line follows the order of the Hebrew alphabet, underscores the meticulous and heartfelt nature of the author's grief. Throughout these laments, the author paints a vivid picture of the devastation and emptiness left behind by the Babylonians' conquests. Jeremiah's words evoke a stark contrast between the once glorious city of Jerusalem and its now desolate state, highlighting the depth of loss felt by those who were exiled. This book serves as a powerful reminder of the enduring faith and resilience of the Jewish people, even in the face of immense adversity. The emotional impact of these laments resonates deeply with anyone who's experienced loss or longed for a sense of home and belonging. In a historic turning point, Cyrus the Great, king of Persia, issued a remarkable decree in 538 BCE. This was no ordinary pronouncement. It carried profound implications for one particular group of people who had been yearning for home and redemption. The content of this edict was revolutionary. Cyrus decreed that the Jews, who had been forcibly exiled to Babylon by King Nebuchadnezzar II, were now free to return to Jerusalem. Not only could they go home, but they were also granted the right to rebuild their sacred temple. This divine permission was a beacon of hope for the Jewish people, signaling an end to their long and arduous exile. The journey from captivity to redemption began with this monumental proclamation. Cyrus's decree was more than just a political gesture, it was an acknowledgement of the Jews' right to worship their God without hindrance. This profound recognition was a testament to the resilience and faithfulness of the Jewish people during their time in exile. The decree marked a turning point for the Jewish community. No longer were they bound to Babylon, they could now embark on the long-awaited journey back to their homeland. This was not just a physical return, but also a spiritual one, as they would regain the freedom to practice their faith openly. With the Cyrus cylinder, hope was kindled in the hearts of the Jewish people. The prospect of returning home and rebuilding their sacred temple offered a ray of light amidst the darkness of exile. This historic decree set in motion a chain of events that would ultimately lead to the reconstruction and rededication of the temple in Jerusalem. The journey from Babylon to Jerusalem was fraught with challenges, but the hope and promise encapsulated in the Cyrus cylinder sustained the Jewish people through their trials. It spanned approximately 800 miles, a distance so vast it would take months to traverse on foot. The return was led by Zerubbabel, a prince of Judah, who carried the hopes and dreams of his people on his shoulders. Imagine setting out from Babylon with nothing but the clothes on your back and the promise of a better future ahead. Every step forward was a testament to their unwavering faith and resilience in the face of adversity. Along the way, they faced opposition from neighbouring peoples who sought to disrupt their efforts, but their resolve remained unbroken. Their journey was marked by moments of uncertainty and fear, but also of profound hope and determination. As they ventured further into the unknown, their faith in God's promise sustained them through the darkest nights. The journey was not just about reaching Jerusalem, it was about reclaiming their spiritual heritage and restoring their connection to God. Finally, after months of travel, they reached the outskirts of Jerusalem. As the returnees approached Jerusalem, they are greeted by a sight that must have filled their hearts with both joy and trepidation, a city lying in ruins. Yet amidst the devastation, there is hope. The prophets Haggai and Zechariah guide them. These men are not merely spiritual leaders, but also builders of the Spirit, with a vision to restore Jerusalem's glory. Their task is monumental, to rebuild the temple that was once the heart of Jewish worship and culture. Zerubbabel, a descendant of King David, is chosen to lead this endeavor. He begins with the foundation, a task that requires not just strength but also a steadfast heart and unwavering faith. Years pass, and the temple rises slowly but surely under their determined hands. In 516 BCE, a remarkable achievement is completed. The Second Temple stands tall once again. This act of rebuilding is more than just reconstruction. It is a symbol of resilience and faith that echoes through generations. While the act of rebuilding was a symbol of resilience and faith, the returnees faced significant challenges. Upon their arrival in Jerusalem, they were met with opposition from local inhabitants, including Samaritans and Ammonites. The Samaritans, who had their own religious beliefs and practices, saw the return of the Jews as a threat to their cultural identity. They viewed the rebuilding efforts not only as a religious encroachment, but also as a potential political challenge. The Ammonites too were wary of the returning Jews and their growing influence in the region. Despite these challenges, the returnees remained steadfast in their resolve to rebuild Jerusalem. Their faith and resilience were tested, but they continued their work with unwavering determination. This persistent opposition serves as a testament to the enduring faith and perseverance of the Jewish people in overcoming adversity. It demonstrates that even in the face of great opposition and hardship, their faith remains unshakable. The Second Temple, completed in 516 BCE, stands as a testament to the resilience and unshakable faith of the Jewish people. Despite the immense challenges they faced during their exile in Babylon, their devotion remained steadfast. Construction began under the leadership of Zerubbabel and the prophets Haggai and Zechariah. This period marked a significant turning point, symbolizing the end of the exile and the beginning of a new era in Jewish history. The temple's completion signified more than just a rebuilt structure. It represented the restoration of Jerusalem as the spiritual center of Judaism. It was a beacon of hope and a tangible expression of their faith in God's promise to his people. For generations, the Second Temple served as a sacred gathering place where Jews from all over could come together to worship and celebrate their religious practices. It stood for 420 years before its tragic destruction in 70 CE by Roman forces. Even in its destruction, the temple's legacy lived on, inspiring generations of Jews to continue their faith and perseverance despite adversity. The story of the Second Temple is not just about a building, but about a people's unyielding spirit and their enduring connection to God. This period, known as the Second Temple era, is filled with accounts of devotion, resilience, and triumph over hardship. It concludes the saga of the Jewish people's journey from exile in Babylon to their triumphant return home and the restoration of their sacred place. Traditionally, Jewish status passes through the mother, not the father. This matrilineal descent means that even in exile, the lineage and identity of the Jewish people could be preserved. It was this strong sense of heritage and faith that allowed them to maintain their religious practices during their time in Babylon. The third group of exiles, led by Nehemiah, a cupbearer to Artaxerxes I, arrived in 445 BCE. This final wave marked the end of the exile and began a new chapter for the Jewish people. Their legacy of resilience and faith was passed down through generations, ensuring that their spirit would continue to inspire future generations. In 445 BCE, Nehemiah led the final wave of exiles back to Jerusalem. This marked the end of their long and arduous journey. Their return was not just a physical homecoming, but also a spiritual renewal, signifying the restoration of their sacred place. The legacy of the Jewish people's enduring faith and resilience is one that continues to resonate today. Their story serves as a reminder that even in the darkest times, hope can be found, and that unwavering devotion can overcome any obstacle. As the journey of the Jewish people from Jerusalem to Babylon unfolded, one constant remained: their unyielding faith and resilience. Even in the darkest hours of their exile, the Jewish people clung to the hope of return. This resilience was not only spiritual, but also cultural and historical. Two crucial figures played a pivotal role in the spiritual revival and re-establishment of Jewish law after their return from exile. One was Ezra the Scribe, who arrived in Jerusalem in 458 BCE with a mission to restore Jewish law. Ezra played a vital role in the spiritual renewal of the Jewish community. He brought with him the law of Moses, which had been lost during the exile. The re-establishment of these laws was a crucial step in the spiritual revival of the Jewish people. Nehemiah's efforts were focused on rebuilding the physical infrastructure of Jerusalem. Together, Ezra and Nehemiah laid the foundation for a spiritual and communal renewal that would define Jewish life for centuries to come. Their work showcased the deep spiritual growth and community rebuilding efforts post-exile. As we look back at this pivotal moment in Jewish history, we can see the profound impact that faith and resilience had on the enduring spirit of the Jewish people. With the temple rebuilt and the first group of exiles returned, another significant challenge remained: the walls of Jerusalem were still in ruins. It was during this time that Nehemiah, the governor of Judah, oversaw the reconstruction of Jerusalem's walls in 445 BCE. Despite facing opposition and various challenges, Nehemiah successfully led the efforts to rebuild these crucial defensive structures. The completion of Jerusalem's walls marked a significant triumph for the returning exiles, symbolizing their resilience and determination to re-establish their community. Nehemiah's leadership provided a beacon of hope and demonstrated the enduring faith and resilience that had sustained the exiled Jews throughout their ordeal. The completion of the walls was more than just a physical achievement. It signified the culmination of years of perseverance and the unwavering belief in their divine calling. The rebuilding of Jerusalem's walls is a testament to the indomitable spirit of the Jewish people and their enduring legacy of faith and resilience. In the heart of Babylon, amidst its towering spires and opulent palaces, one Jewish man rose to prominence: Daniel. He was among the first exiles brought from Jerusalem in 597 BCE, and he quickly distinguished himself as a wise administrator in King Nebuchadnezzar II's court. Daniel's role was not merely administrative, it carried with it a profound moral responsibility that would be put to the test. Daniel's faith in the God of Israel was unwavering, even as he served a king known for his grandeur and his idolatry. When Nebuchadnezzar commanded that all court officials bow before a gold statue he had erected, Daniel found himself at a crossroads. Refusing to compromise his beliefs, Daniel stood resolute and openly defied the king's decree. His actions were an act of quiet rebellion, a declaration of faith amidst the sea of conformity. The consequences of Daniel's defiance were swift and severe. Summoned before the king, he was accused of disloyalty and disrespect toward the state religion. Nebuchadnezzar, enraged by Daniel's insubordination, ordered him to be cast into a furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual. Yet even in the face of such peril, Daniel's faith did not falter. His courageous stand was not a solitary act. Many Jews in Babylon faced similar trials and maintained their religious observances with equal tenacity. Daniel's survival in the fiery furnace is often seen as a miraculous intervention by God, underscoring the divine protection granted to those who remain steadfast in their faith. Ultimately, Daniel's trial and subsequent vindication illustrate how Jewish leaders maintained their influence and integrity amidst the challenges of exile. In the heart of Babylon, a city that thrummed with ancient civilizations and towering ziggurats, Jewish communities found solace in their rituals and practices. They gathered each Sabbath to honor the day of rest, a cornerstone of their faith. This commitment to their traditions, amidst a foreign culture, became a beacon of their identity. Sabbath was more than just a day off. It was a sacred duty to remember the creation story and honor God's commandments. To mark this holy day, families prepared special meals following the kosher dietary laws that ensured their food was ritually clean. This meticulous adherence to their customs preserved not just their faith, but also their cultural identity. But it wasn't just about the food they ate or didn't eat. The practice of keeping kosher extended to every aspect of their lives. They built synagogues where communities could gather for prayer and study, creating sacred spaces that mirrored the temples they had left behind in Jerusalem. In these synagogues, the Torah was taught to children, ensuring that the next generation would carry on their traditions and beliefs. Parents saw this as a vital investment in maintaining their people's identity across generations. Even in exile, these practices were not merely preserved but nurtured and deepened, demonstrating the enduring commitment to Jewish traditions. This journey of preserving their culture is a testament to their resilience and unyielding spirit in the face of adversity. Before the forced march to Babylon, Jeremiah, known as the Weeping Prophet, had warned the people of Judah that their disobedience would lead to exile. He foretold a time when the city streets would be silent and the temple empty, a chilling premonition that came true. This divine insight was more than mere prediction. It served as a spiritual roadmap for the Jews during their darkest hours. Meanwhile, Isaiah, another prophet, offered a beacon of hope amidst the gloom. He promised that after 70 years, the Jews would return to Jerusalem and rebuild their holy city. This vision was not just comforting words, it was a promise rooted in faith and divine assurance. These prophecies held profound significance for the Jews during their exile. They clung to Jeremiah's warnings as a reminder of their past transgressions and Isaiah's promise as a symbol of future redemption. In the quiet moments, when they huddled together under foreign skies, these prophetic words echoed through their hearts, a whisper of resilience and enduring faith. For 70 years, the words of Jeremiah and Isaiah guided them through the shadows, reminding them that even in their darkest hour, they were not forgotten. When Cyrus the Great issued his decree allowing them to return, it was more than just a political maneuver. It was a fulfilled promise. The journey back to Jerusalem, the rebuilding of the temple, and the restoration of their faith were all steps along a path illuminated by divine foresight. Through these trials and triumphs, the Jews demonstrated that prophecy is not merely about predicting the future, it is about providing a beacon of hope in times of uncertainty. As they reclaimed their homeland and reconsecrated their temple, the Jews found solace in knowing that even in exile, they were never truly lost. As the exiled Jews settled into life in Babylon, their spiritual practices underwent significant transformations. The most notable shift was the move from temple-based worship to synagogue services. Without a central temple, Jews adapted by gathering in local houses of prayer called synagogues. In these synagogues, the focus shifted to communal study and reflection on sacred texts like the Torah. This change marked a profound evolution in Jewish worship, from temple rituals to community-centered learning. The influence of Babylonian culture extended into religious practices as well. Many Jews adopted local customs and integrated them into their own rituals. For example, the practice of reciting psalms during prayer services was likely influenced by Babylonian hymnal traditions. Over time, these liturgical practices became integral to Jewish worship and continue to this day. Despite the upheaval, the exiled Jews remained deeply committed to their faith. Through these continuities and adaptations, the Jews ensured that their spiritual life would endure. And as they returned to Jerusalem after decades of exile, they brought these new practices back with them. The journey from temple-based worship to synagogue services have not only preserved their faith, but enriched it. As they reconsecrated the temple in Jerusalem, these newly evolved practices became an integral part of Jewish worship. It's during this tumultuous period in 605 BCE that the prophet Jeremiah begins his writings, foretelling the impending doom of Jerusalem. Jeremiah is known for his unwavering faith and resilience, which he instills into the hearts of those who follow him. In the book of Jeremiah, he prophesies the fall of Jerusalem to the Babylonians and the subsequent exile. His words are not just a warning, they serve as a beacon of hope in the darkest of times. Jeremiah writes a letter to the exiles in Babylon, urging them to seek the welfare of their new land and promising them that their stay will eventually come to an end. Through his relationship with King Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon, Jeremiah maintains a level of influence that allows him to advocate for the well-being of the Jewish people. His writings and actions ensure that the spirit of his people remains undaunted and their faith in a brighter future is preserved. Jeremiah's enduring message of hope and resilience is what keeps the Jewish people united and steadfast during their time in exile. As they await their return to Jerusalem, the words of Jeremiah serve as a constant reminder that even in the darkest hours, hope can prevail. One significant change was the development of the synagogue as a place of worship. The Babylonian exile had a profound impact on Jewish liturgy and prayer traditions. Prayers, such as the Kaddish, which is still recited today, evolved during this period. The Kaddish prayer became a means for Jews to express their faith and unity in the absence of the temple. The Passover Seder took on added significance during the exile as a remembrance of their deliverance from Egypt. These adaptations reflect the resilience and creativity of the Jewish people in maintaining their faith amidst adversity. The exile period also saw changes in how the Torah was interpreted and taught. Scholars like Ezekiel and Ezra played crucial roles in this process of reinterpreting Jewish law during the exile. Their teachings helped shape new traditions that continue to be part of Jewish practice today. The journey from Jerusalem to Babylon was not just a geographical shift. It profoundly shaped the daily life and resilience of the Jewish people. Life in exile brought unexpected opportunities for the Jews to integrate into Babylonian society while preserving their unique cultural identity. They contributed significantly to Babylonian society through their skills and knowledge in various fields such as trade and commerce. Their economic prowess was notable. Many Jews became successful merchants and traders within Babylon. This economic success not only benefited the Jews, but also enriched Babylonian society as a whole. Despite their integration into Babylonian life, the Jews remained committed to maintaining their religious and cultural practices. Their enduring faith and resilience are evident in the contributions they made to Babylonian society while keeping their unique identity. Their story in Babylon illustrates how the Jewish people have adapted and thrived in different environments throughout history. This ability to integrate while preserving their cultural identity is a testament to the enduring spirit of the Jewish people. The Babylonian exile of the Jewish people has left an indelible mark on history. But what evidence supports this historic event? In the ruins of Babylon, archaeologists have unearthed texts and artifacts that shed light on Jewish life during this period. Coins minted during the Babylonian era also provide tangible evidence of Jewish life in exile. These coins bear Hebrew inscriptions and symbols, reflecting the Jewish community's determination to maintain their cultural and religious identity. Architectural remains in Babylon reveal synagogues where Jews gathered for worship and study. These discoveries align with biblical narratives that speak of the Jews' resilience and faith during their time in Babylon. The integration of Jews into Babylonian society is also attested to by the adoption of Babylonian names and customs. These archaeological findings not only validate the biblical accounts, but also offer a glimpse into the daily lives of the exiled Jews. And the archaeological evidence serves as a powerful reminder of this historic event and the indomitable spirit of the Jewish people. As the Jews of Jerusalem faced their forced deportation to Babylon, a crucial lifeline emerged in the form of letters written by the prophet Jeremiah. These writings, now known as the Letters of Jeremiah, served as a beacon of hope and faith for those in exile. Jeremiah's words offered a stark reminder that despite the hardships, their faith remained the cornerstone of their identity and resilience. Through these letters, Jeremiah urged the Jews not to assimilate too deeply into Babylonian culture. He cautioned against adopting Babylonian names and integrating so fully that they might lose touch with their own traditions and heritage. While many Jews did adopt Babylonian names as a pragmatic measure of survival, the letters served as a constant reminder of their true identity. The letters also highlighted the temporary nature of their exile, reminding the Jews that this was not their permanent home and that they would eventually return to Jerusalem. This hopeful message had a profound impact on the Jewish community in Babylon. It helped them endure the hardships of exile with a sense of purpose and resilience, knowing that their faith was a powerful force binding them together. The letters of Jeremiah became a symbol of their unwavering belief and their determination to preserve their cultural and religious identity in the face of adversity. As they awaited the day of their return, the Jews found solace and strength in Jeremiah's words, which affirmed their faith as a cornerstone of their resilience during exile. Their journey from Jerusalem to Babylon was not just one of physical displacement, but also a testament to the enduring power of faith and hope in the hearts of the Jewish people. Centuries before the Common Era, an ancient manuscript emerged from the heart of Babylon, carrying with it a story that would echo through generations. This manuscript was known as the Epic of Ahiqar. The tale begins with Ahiqar, a wise and trusted advisor to King Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon. According to the book's introduction, this is the story of a man whose wisdom was so profound that even the mighty king of Babylon sought his counsel. Ahiqar's wisdom was renowned throughout the land, and his teachings were cherished by all who heard them. The epic records numerous proverbs and sayings attributed to Ahiqar, many of which remain relevant to this day. One such teaching advises, "Do not speak in the hearing of a fool, for he may despise your good words." This wisdom underscores the importance of choosing one's audience wisely. Another piece of Ahiqar's wisdom emphasizes the value of humility. He says, "Do not boast about your riches, for they may soon be gone and you will be left in poverty." The teachings of Ahiqar were not merely philosophical musings, but practical advice that resonated deeply with the Jewish community living in exile. In a time when their faith was tested, these words provided solace and guidance. They served as a reminder that enduring wisdom could sustain them through even the darkest of times. The story of Ahiqar does not end with his teachings alone. It also tells of a plot against him, orchestrated by those who sought to undermine his influence over the king. Ahiqar's nephew, Nadin, became jealous of Ahiqar's position and status. Seeking to remove Ahiqar from power, he framed him for a crime he did not commit. Nadin's deceit led to Ahiqar being sentenced to death, and his fate seemed sealed. But the king intervened at the last moment, staying Ahiqar's execution. In a twist of fate, it was discovered that Nadin had been plotting against Ahiqar all along. The true nature of Nadin's betrayal was revealed, and justice was served. The narrative of the Epic of Ahiqar carries a profound message about resilience, integrity, and the enduring power of wisdom. For the Jewish community in Babylon, this story held particular significance. It reminded them that even in exile, their cultural heritage could be preserved and passed on to future generations. The teachings of Ahiqar became a symbol of continuity and resilience, a testament to the enduring spirit of the Jewish people. They brought with them skills in trade and commerce, which they used to establish thriving businesses within the Babylonian economy. Their economic activities included the trading of goods such as textiles, spices, and precious metals. These commercial endeavors not only supported the Jewish community, but also contributed to the overall prosperity of Babylon. In addition to their trading activities, many Jews also held influential positions within the Babylonian government and administrative systems. For example, Daniel and his 3 companions became prominent advisors to King Nebuchadnezzar. Their wisdom and counsel were highly valued by the Babylonian leadership, leading to their appointment as governors over various provinces. The contributions of the Jewish exiles were not limited to their time in Babylon. Their economic and political influence extended far beyond their immediate surroundings. Their integration into Babylonian society set a precedent for Jewish communities worldwide, demonstrating their ability to thrive and contribute even in exile. This resilience and adaptability would continue to define the Jewish people throughout history. Born in Persia, Nehemiah held a significant position as the cupbearer to King Artaxerxes I. His role was not just ceremonial, it required trust and intimacy, as he would taste the king's food and drink to ensure they were not poisoned. News of Jerusalem's disrepair reached Nehemiah through letters from his brother Hanani and other Jews who had returned from exile. The wall surrounding the city, once a symbol of protection and unity, lay in ruins. Moved by this news, Nehemiah sought permission to travel to Jerusalem and oversee the rebuilding effort. His request was granted, accompanied by a letter from King Artaxerxes himself. Upon arriving in Jerusalem, Nehemiah surveyed the damage firsthand. The wall's condition was worse than he had imagined. Undaunted, he began his work, rallying the people of Jerusalem to assist him in this monumental task. Nehemiah divided the city into sections, assigning each part to a different group of workers. He coordinated efforts meticulously, ensuring that every segment of the wall was rebuilt with care and precision. Nehemiah, however, remained steadfast. He continued his efforts with unwavering resolve, even arming some of his workers for protection against potential attacks. The wall's reconstruction became a symbol not just of physical fortification, but also of unity and perseverance among the Jewish people. It marked a significant step in their ultimate return and restoration in Jerusalem. In the ancient city of Babylon, a new kind of leadership began to emerge among the exiled Jews. Despite being far from their homeland, many Jews rose to positions of influence and prominence within the Babylonian society. Among these leaders was Daniel, a wise and respected figure who gained the trust of King Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel interpreted dreams and advised the king, demonstrating his wisdom and insight. This act of preserving Jewish religious practices was instrumental in maintaining their cultural identity during the exile. These acts of leadership and resilience showed how Jewish communities could thrive even in adverse conditions. As the exiled Jews returned to Jerusalem and began to rebuild their community, their faith and leadership continued to guide them. Prominent among these exiles was the esteemed prophet Ezekiel, whose visions and teachings laid the groundwork for complex philosophical discussions. His insights into divine justice and moral conduct resonated with both Jewish and Babylonian audiences. In the realm of science, Jewish scholars made noteworthy advances. The Babylonian exiles' deep understanding of astronomy and mathematics contributed to the advancement of these fields within Babylonian society. Their astronomical observations, meticulously recorded over generations, provided valuable data for future scientific inquiry. This knowledge was not confined to Jewish circles, but shared with Babylonian scholars, fostering a spirit of mutual learning and progress. In literature, the exiles' stories and poetic works enriched the cultural landscape of Babylon. The Book of Lamentations, penned during this period, offers a poignant glimpse into their experiences of suffering and resilience. Their writings not only documented their own history, but also served as a bridge between different cultures. These literary contributions resonated with the Babylonians, fostering a deeper understanding and appreciation of Jewish traditions. The exiles' philosophical reflections on justice, morality, and divine providence also left an indelible mark. These ideas sparked thought-provoking debates among Babylonian intellectuals and laid the foundation for future ethical discourses. For many Jews living in Babylon, the Book of Lamentations became a central text. It chronicled their suffering and resilience, offering comfort and a sense of shared experience. The words of this book echoed through synagogues, reminding them of their enduring faith despite their trials. As they grappled with the harsh realities of exile, Jewish scholars began to develop new interpretations of Scripture. They explored themes of justice, divine providence, and the nature of God's relationship with humanity. These theological explorations offered fresh perspectives on their faith, helping them to navigate the complexities of their situation. This period of exile also saw the development of key Jewish texts such as the Talmud and other scriptural commentaries. These writings reflected the deepening of theological thought and provided new frameworks for understanding God's relationship with humanity. They would go on to influence generations of Jewish scholars and believers. As they laid the foundation for the new temple, the returning Jews carried with them a renewed sense of purpose and divine connection. Their faith had been tested but emerged stronger. The adversity of exile had led to a deeper understanding and strengthening of their belief in God's providence and unfailing love. In the quiet moments of reflection, the returning Jews could see that their exile had not been in vain. Their journey had brought them closer to God and deepened their understanding of His love and mercy. This realization brought a sense of peace and completion to their long spiritual odyssey. While in Babylon, the Jewish people faced a critical challenge: how to maintain their cultural identity and religious practices far from home. One solution they found was education. They established schools and learning centers within their communities to teach Hebrew and the sacred Jewish scriptures. These educational institutions became vital in preserving their cultural heritage and religious beliefs during their exile. The emphasis on teaching Hebrew was particularly significant. It ensured that the next generation could understand and practice their faith as it had been passed down through generations. Moreover, studying the Jewish scriptures kept alive the stories and wisdom that defined their identity as a people chosen by God. Education became not just a means of survival, but a tool for preparing the Jewish community for their eventual return to Jerusalem. With each lesson taught and each tradition preserved, the Jews in Babylon were laying the foundation for their future homecoming. With the law of Moses in hand, Ezra began a tireless effort to re-establish Jewish law and tradition among the returning exiles. Ezra's spiritual revival efforts were a beacon of hope amidst the many challenges facing the returnees. Despite opposition from neighboring peoples who sought to disrupt their efforts, Ezra and his followers persevered. Through his leadership, the Jews began to rebuild their spiritual community, which would become a central aspect of their resilience and identity. Ezra's work laid the foundation for a spiritual revival that would continue to shape Jewish life for generations to come. Other key figures like Zerubbabel and Nehemiah also played vital roles in this restoration process. Together, they ensured that Jerusalem was not just rebuilt, but also spiritually renewed. While the Jews faced significant challenges in Babylon, their enduring faith and resilience did not go unnoticed by those around them. In fact, the Jews' strategic and diplomatic prowess became a key factor in their eventual return to Jerusalem. Diplomacy played a crucial role in this process. Daniel, a prominent figure among the Jews in exile, served as a high-ranking official in the court of King Cyrus of Persia. His wisdom and counsel were highly valued by the king, and his influence was instrumental in shaping key decisions. Understanding the importance of diplomacy, the Jews continued to navigate complex political landscapes even after Cyrus's reign. During the reign of King Darius, negotiations with the Persian court were ongoing and required deft handling to maintain the Jews' favorable position. The Jews' diplomatic efforts during this period ensured that they maintained a strong foothold in Persia, allowing them to continue planning and preparing for their eventual return. These strategic moves facilitated the safe and successful return of many Jews to Jerusalem under the leadership of Zerubbabel. The diplomatic prowess and strategic thinking of the Jews during their exile showcased their remarkable resilience and adaptability in maintaining their faith and cultural identity. One of the most profound examples is the adoption of Jewish wisdom literature by Babylonians. The Book of Lamentations, which documents the suffering and resilience of the exiled Jews, became a source of inspiration for the Babylonians. The philosophical ideas and ethical practices found in Jewish texts also resonated deeply with the Babylonians. The concept of monotheism, for instance, challenged the polytheistic beliefs prevalent in Mesopotamia at that time. The Babylonians began to incorporate Jewish ethical principles into their own societal structures. For example, the Sabbath, a day of rest and reflection, was adopted by some Babylonian communities. This cultural exchange had lasting effects. Long after the exile ended, elements of Jewish thought continued to be woven into the fabric of Babylonian society. The profound impact of Jewish ideas on Babylonian culture demonstrates the power of resilience and adaptability. Despite their hardships, the Jews maintained their faith and cultural identity, leaving an enduring legacy in Babylon. During their exile, the Jewish community in Babylon maintained their religious practices with remarkable dedication and resilience. Among these rituals was the observance of the Sabbath. Despite the foreign surroundings, Jews gathered each Friday evening to welcome the Sabbath Queen, marking the start of a sacred day of rest and reflection. In addition to the Sabbath, other significant Jewish holidays were meticulously observed. Passover, commemorating the Exodus from Egypt, held special meaning in a land where they themselves were exiles. Families gathered for the Seder meal, recounting the story of Moses and the liberation of their ancestors. During this time of remembrance, the matzah, unleavened bread, symbolized their past hardships and hope for future redemption. The bitter herbs on the Seder plate echoed the bitterness of their current exile. These rituals were more than just remembrances, they were acts of defiant hope and faith in a better tomorrow. To facilitate these gatherings and maintain their religious practices, Jews established synagogues throughout Babylon. These places of worship served as spiritual havens where they could pray, study scriptures, and celebrate holy days together. The establishment of these synagogues is a testament to the enduring power of faith and community in the face of hardship. One such notable synagogue was known for its exceptional architecture, with intricate carvings and designs that mirrored their ancestral temples in Jerusalem. This connection to their past not only offered comfort, but also reinforced their resolve to uphold their traditions and customs. Perhaps the most profound illustration of their tenacity is found in the Book of Lamentations. It reads, "By the waters of Babylon, there we sat down and wept when we remembered Zion." Despite the pain and longing for home, they remained devoted to their rituals, keeping alive the essence of what it meant to be Jewish. This journey of preserving Jewish rituals in exile underscores a deeper truth, that faith and resilience are not easily shaken by adversity. As we look back at their story, it becomes clear that the strength of their beliefs was as enduring as the rivers of Babylon themselves. As the Jewish people found themselves in exile, their faith and resilience became a beacon of hope amidst the turmoil of displacement. A crucial aspect of this journey was the preservation of religious rituals, which fell to the Levites, an ancient order of priests. They organized communal gatherings where Jews could come together to pray, study scriptures, and share meals. These gatherings provided a much-needed sense of familiarity and connection amidst the unfamiliarity of their new surroundings. This resilience, passed down through generations, would ultimately pave the way for their return and restoration in Jerusalem. Despite the hardship and despair, hope persisted among the exiled Jews in Babylon. This hope was often carried through correspondence from leaders still residing in Jerusalem. Among these letters, those penned by King Jehoiachin held particular significance. Jehoiachin, who was taken into exile in 597 BCE alongside thousands of his people, maintained a crucial connection with the Jews scattered across Babylon. His letters were beacons of hope and resilience, reminding them of their shared heritage and encouraging them to hold on to their faith. One such letter famously stated, "Though we are separated by distance, our hearts remain united in faith." This phrase became a rallying cry among the exiled Jews, who clung to it as a symbol of their enduring connection to Jerusalem and their unshakable belief in their eventual return. These letters also provided valuable insight into the conditions in Jerusalem, helping the exiled Jews maintain a sense of continuity with their homeland. They described the state of the temple and the efforts being made to rebuild it, offering a glimpse of hope amidst the desolation they faced in Babylon. The impact of Jehoiachin's letters was profound. They served as a tangible link between the exiled Jews and their spiritual home, bolstering their morale and strengthening their resolve to maintain their religious practices despite the adversity they faced. In essence, these letters were not just missives from a distant king, they were lifelines of hope and faith, sustaining the Jewish people through one of the darkest periods in their history. Excavations in Babylon have uncovered significant artifacts that provide tangible evidence of the daily life and cultural practices of Jews during their exile. Among these discoveries are remnants of Jewish homes and synagogues, which reveal how the exiled community organized their residential patterns. These structures often bore distinctive architectural features that set them apart from those of their Babylonian neighbors, indicating a strong desire to maintain their cultural identity amidst a foreign environment. One such example is the layout of some Jewish homes, which included separate rooms for religious rituals and observances. These dedicated spaces underscore the importance of religious practices in the daily lives of the exiled Jews. Further evidence of their unwavering faith is found in the numerous artifacts related to Jewish religious activities, such as ritual objects and inscriptions on pottery. These discoveries provide a window into how the exiled Jews continued to observe their holy days like Passover and the Sabbath, even in the midst of adversity. Their methods for achieving this level of accuracy involve careful comparison of various copies to ensure consistency. This painstaking process not only maintained the integrity of the texts, but also instilled a deep sense of respect and reverence for the sacred writings among the exiled community. To further ensure accuracy, scribes often counted letters, words, or verses to verify that nothing was missing or added during the copying process. This meticulous approach highlighted their dedication and the importance they placed on the preservation of these sacred texts. The significance of this work cannot be overstated. By meticulously copying scriptures, the scribes ensured that future generations would have access to the same teachings and wisdom passed down from their ancestors. This continuity was essential in maintaining the resilience and foresight of the Jewish people during the challenging period of exile. Moreover, the scribes' dedication served as a symbol of hope and continuity amidst adversity. Their commitment to preserving the scriptures underscored the enduring nature of their faith and cultural identity, providing comfort and assurance during a time of great uncertainty. This resilience and foresight are evident in the fact that many of these scriptures continue to be studied and revered today, centuries after their creation. The efforts of the Jewish scribes during the Babylonian exile have left a lasting legacy that continues to shape modern Judaism. By ensuring the continuity of these sacred texts, the scribes ensured that future generations could draw strength from their past and carry forward the wisdom and teachings that had been passed down through centuries. This chapter closes with a sense of respect and admiration for the diligent work of these scribes who, amidst adversity, preserved their religious heritage and ensured that it would endure through time. Even as the Jews maintained their religious practices in Babylon, they also made significant intellectual contributions that went beyond their faith. The influence of Jewish thought extended into fields like astronomy, mathematics, and philosophy, enriching the cultural landscape of ancient Babylon. For example, Jewish scholars played a crucial role in advancing astronomical knowledge during their exile. Their observations and calculations of celestial bodies contributed to the understanding of the heavens. In the realm of mathematics, Jewish thinkers made notable advances that are still recognized today. The Babylonian exile coincided with a period of significant mathematical discoveries, some of which were attributed to Jewish scholars. Philosophically, Jewish thought in Babylon engaged with deep questions about the nature of existence and morality. Their reflections on these themes would eventually influence philosophical discourse more broadly. The enduring impact of Jewish thought in Babylon demonstrates the adaptability and resilience of the exiled Jews. Despite being far from their homeland, they maintained their intellectual vitality and made substantial contributions to various fields. As we have seen, the Jewish people's journey from Jerusalem to Babylon was marked by both adversity and achievement. Their faith and intellectual prowess combined to create a lasting impact that can still be appreciated today. Their ultimate return and restoration in Jerusalem is a story of resilience and triumph, illustrating the profound influence of Jewish thought beyond the confines of religious practice alone. As the Jewish people settled into their new life in Babylon, a voice from afar offered them hope and comfort. This was not just any voice. It was Jeremiah's. the prophet known for his dire warnings of Jerusalem's fall, now sent letters to the exiles. Jeremiah's letters, recorded in the Book of Lamentations, spoke directly to the pain and despair the Jews felt during their exile. He acknowledged their suffering, validating their emotions in a way that must have been deeply reassuring. "How lonely sits the city, once great with people," he wrote. But Jeremiah did not leave them in despair. Instead, he offered a message of hope and future restoration. His letters contained prophecies of return and renewal. "Yet I will restore the fortunes of Zion for the sake of David," he promised. This message was not just empty hope. It was rooted in Jeremiah's unwavering faith that God would restore his people to their land. The exiles clung to these letters, finding solace and strength in Jeremiah's words during their darkest hours. These prophetic communications sustained the Jewish community's faith, reminding them that even in exile, they were not forgotten. They provided a lifeline, connecting the exiles to their ancestral home and promising a future return. Throughout the Babylonian exile, Jewish scholars and prophets continued to write down their wisdom and insights. Texts like Proverbs, Job, and Ecclesiastes were not just religious teachings. They offered profound insights into human nature and the mysteries of life. Babylonian scholars, renowned for their philosophical inquiries, began to take notice of these Jewish texts. These Jewish wisdom literature pieces started to influence Babylonian thought and philosophy. For instance, the Book of Job explores the complexities of human suffering and divine justice themes that resonated deeply with Babylonian thinkers. Similarly, Ecclesiastes delves into the vanity and meaninglessness of life, questioning whether there is any ultimate purpose. The wisdom in these Jewish texts not only enriched Babylonian literature, but also deepened their philosophical discourse. In a sense, these Jewish contributions laid the groundwork for a richer and more nuanced intellectual landscape in Babylon. As the Jews began to return to Jerusalem and rebuild their temple, this intellectual foundation would continue to enrich both cultures. As the Jews journeyed from Jerusalem to Babylon, their faith and resilience were fortified by the comforting messages of the prophet Isaiah. Among the exiled, many turned to his words for solace and guidance. In Isaiah 40:55, often referred to as Deutero-Isaiah, the prophet offers hopeful visions of redemption and return. These passages were particularly cherished by Jews in Babylonian captivity. "Comfort, O comfort my people," Isaiah declares. "Speak tenderly to Jerusalem and cry to her that her warfare is ended, that her iniquity is pardoned." Isaiah 40:1-2. Such messages brought immense hope during their trying times. The prophet also describes the splendor of Jerusalem, reassuring the exiles that your ancient ruins shall be rebuilt. "You shall raise up the foundations of many generations." Isaiah 58:12. These passages painted vivid images of restoration. Isaiah's words were not mere platitudes. They resonated deeply because they spoke to the Jews' longing for home. The prophet's visions were a beacon that kept their faith alive in a foreign land. Moreover, Isaiah reminds them of God's eternal covenant. "For the mountains may depart and the hills be removed, but my steadfast love shall not depart from you, and my covenant of peace shall not be removed." Isaiah 5001. This unwavering promise reinforced their resilience. The comfort and hope provided by Isaiah's messages were instrumental in sustaining the Jews during their exile. They clung to these words, drawing strength from the assurance of eventual redemption. Through the darkest hours of exile, Isaiah's words had been a guiding light, reinforcing their belief in God's plan and promise. This spiritual guidance was pivotal in their ultimate return and restoration in Jerusalem. As they rebuilt their temple, the words of Isaiah echoed through the stones. "Lift up your eyes to the heavens and look at the earth beneath, for the heavens vanish like smoke, the earth shall wear out like a garment." Isaiah 51:6. Their faith was steadfast. Thus, the journey of the Jewish people from Jerusalem to Babylon, their enduring faith, and ultimate return home is a testament to the power of prophetic comfort and divine promise. One such woman was Esther, whose story is told in the Book of Esther. Her courage and wisdom saved her people from annihilation at a critical juncture during their exile. While men were often involved in public affairs and political maneuverings, Jewish women like Esther ensured the survival of their people through resilience and strategic thinking. Their dedication to these rituals was instrumental in keeping their cultural identity intact amidst the influences of Babylonian society. Women also played a significant role in maintaining family unity and passing down traditions from one generation to the next, ensuring that Jewish heritage was not lost during the exile. Their contributions highlight an often overlooked aspect of Jewish resilience: the crucial role played by women in maintaining faith and cultural continuity. As the exile continued, these women stood as beacons of hope, their actions reflecting the indomitable spirit of the Jewish people. Their stories serve as a reminder that even in the darkest times, there are always those who work tirelessly behind the scenes to keep the light of hope burning. These prophets were not mere fortune tellers, but men who received divine visions and messages from God, guiding the exiles through one of history's darkest periods. Ezekiel, for instance, was among those deported to Babylon in 597 BCE. While in captivity, he delivered prophecies that offered glimpses into the future restoration of Jerusalem. His visions were not just comforting words, but vivid descriptions of future events that would eventually come to pass. The significance of these prophecies lay in their ability to instill hope among the exiles, providing them with a spiritual anchor amidst the turbulence of their circumstances. Ezekiel's prophecy of the Valley of Dry Bones is a prime example. In this vision, he saw a vast graveyard filled with dry bones, symbolizing the hopelessness of the exiled Jewish people. But then, Ezekiel heard God's command: "Prophesy to these bones and say to them, 'O dry bones, hear the word of the Lord.'" As he spoke, the bones began to rattle, join together, and form complete skeletons. Flesh grew back onto the bones, and breath filled their lungs, reviving them. This powerful imagery served as a promise that just as God could bring life to these dry bones, he would also restore the Jewish people to their land. Daniel, another significant prophet during this time, provided similar guidance through his visions and dreams. While interpreting a dream for King Nebuchadnezzar, Daniel saw a vision of a statue representing various kingdoms that would rise and fall before the establishment of God's eternal kingdom. This vision offered a glimpse into the eventual restoration of Jerusalem, giving the exiles something to hold on to during their trying times. Jeremiah's prophecies also included promises of future restoration and hope, reinforcing the belief that despite their current circumstances, a brighter future awaited them. The role of these Jewish prophets in Babylon was not just about delivering messages, it was about maintaining spiritual guidance and hope among the exiles. Their visions and prophecies were beacons of light in the darkness, reminding the Jewish people that even in their lowest moments, divine intervention was at work. In the midst of their exile, the Jewish people found solace and strength in their music and hymns. These spiritual songs served as a lifeline, maintaining their faith and cultural identity amidst the turmoil of their displacement. The Book of Psalms, a collection of sacred poems and songs, was instrumental in this preservation. It provided both comfort and a sense of connection to their divine origins. One of the most resonant hymns was "By the Rivers of Babylon," which poignantly expressed the yearning for home. This song captured the deep longing and grief felt by the exiled Jews, yet it also held a glimmer of hope. Archaeological findings have uncovered fragments of song sheets and tablets that date back to this period, offering tangible evidence of their musical practices. These artifacts demonstrate how integral music was to their spiritual survival. The songs were not merely for personal solace, but also for communal bonding. They were sung during gatherings and rituals, fostering a sense of unity among the dispersed people. This collective musical expression reinforced their belief in divine intervention and their eventual return to Jerusalem. Their resilience, bolstered by these hymns, was a testament to the enduring power of faith and cultural heritage. The journey from Babylon back to Jerusalem would take generations, but their faith remained steadfast, nurtured by these timeless hymns. This unwavering commitment was crucial in paving the way for their ultimate restoration and return home. When they finally returned, It was not just with hopes of rebuilding their city, but also with a renewed sense of identity and spiritual strength. The music and hymns had kept the flame of their faith alive throughout the exile. This legacy of resilience, preserved through generations by their sacred music, would continue to guide them as they reconstructed and reaffirmed their place in Jerusalem.